Future of transportation, electric vehicles, and sustainable mobility. The movement of people and things is essential to the functioning of modern society. Nevertheless, the transportation systems that we now use have a detrimental effect on both human health and the environment. An interview was conducted with Magdalena Jozwicka, who is the project manager of an upcoming report on electric vehicles. The conversation focused on the environmental benefits and issues associated with the utilization of energy as an alternative to traditional fuels for powering automobiles. These days, there are a variety of various kinds to choose from. When we talk about passenger vehicles, we may differentiate between pure battery electric vehicles, which are operated only by an electric motor, and various plug-in hybrid automobiles, which are equipped with both an electric motor and an internal combustion engine. Pure battery electric vehicles are the most common type of passenger vehicle. Electricity can also be used to power a variety of other kinds of vehicles. As we travel, we are witnessing an increasing number of electric bicycles, trucks, and buses being utilized. In addition to the aforementioned types of transportation, we also have waterborne ferries, ships, and small boats, as well as railway engines. To what extent are electric vehicles prevalent throughout Europe? The number of electric passenger cars, both plug-in hybrids and pure battery vehicles, that are being sold has been steadily increasing over the past few years. Around 150,000 brand new electric vehicles were sold in the European Union in the previous year. Even though sales are growing at a quick rate in percentage terms, they still only account for a modest portion of total sales, which was only 1.2% in 2015. According to our estimations, the percentage of electric vehicles on the road is only about 0.15%. Alternatively, to put it another way, only one passenger car out of every 700. One country that deserves special note is Norway, which is now in the lead when it comes to the sales of electric cars. Approximately 34,000 brand new electric vehicles were sold in the region in the previous year, which is equivalent to 1 in every 5 new automobiles. What kind of policy does Europe have about electric vehicles? As part of its commitment to decarbonizing its transportation system, the European Union (EU) is also encouraging alternative technologies and fuels to conventional combustion engine technology. The use of electric vehicles is merely one component. While there are policies that attempt to support the growth of renewable fuels and power, there are also policies that address the infrastructure that is required for electric vehicles, such as charging stations located all over Europe. In certain pieces of law, targets are established for the amount of carbon dioxide, CO2, that new cars are allowed to release per kilometer. Incentives such as this have helped encourage the production of low-emission vehicles, such as electric cars. There are several reasons why it is essential to include electric vehicles in the fleet of automobiles. It is detrimental to both the local air quality and our climate to use fossil fuels for transportation. Carbon dioxide, CO2, and other dangerous air pollutants, including nitrogen oxides and particulate matter, are released into the atmosphere as a result of exhaust emissions. In addition, the most significant contributor to noise in Europe is the traffic on the roads. It is abundantly clear that the incorporation of electric vehicles into the fleet has the potential to dramatically reduce overall emissions of greenhouse gases, GHG, and air pollution, particularly if the electricity that is utilized originates from renewable sources. However, even if the electricity is generated from fossil fuels, the impact of switching to electric vehicles on the urban environment can still be beneficial, especially when taking into consideration the reduction of local air pollution and noise levels. What are the reasons that some countries have a greater prevalence of electric vehicles than others? Nearly every nation is embarking on some kind of initiative to promote electric vehicles. However, only a small number of nations have been able to successfully achieve significant increases in sales. For instance, in 2015, only 6 EU member states accounted for 90% of the total sales of new electric vehicles. These states are Denmark, France, Germany, Sweden, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom. One of the countries that is a good example of a country that uses a comprehensive package of incentives is Norway, which was mentioned earlier as a frontrunner in this field. The provision of purchase subsidies that bring the cost of electric vehicles to a level comparable to that of conventional automobiles appears to be one of the most effective measures. What difficulties are still to come? For customers to embrace electromobility in a more widespread manner, the technology still needs to go through various stages of improvement. As an illustration, the driving range ought to be extended, and the charging speed ought to be pushed forward. At the moment, it takes 20 to 30 minutes for a vehicle to be fully charged at the fastest charging stations for 100 kilometers of driving. Additionally, to fully make use of the benefits that electromobility has to offer, we need to improve our infrastructure so that public charging stations are as commonplace as traditional fueling stations, and we also need to increase the capacity of renewable energy generation. Additionally, electric vehicles provide a higher price tag compared to traditional automobiles. In addition, it is essential to keep in mind that merely switching from conventional vehicles to electric ones will not be sufficient to tackle the majority of the issues that are associated with transportation. Electric vehicles, even though they have the potential to lessen emissions of greenhouse gases, air pollution, and noise, will not be able to tackle other issues, such as traffic congestion or the necessity for new road infrastructure and parking places. We, as a society, need to rethink our entire mobility system and look at innovative ways to reduce our dependency on vehicles to make transportation truly sustainable. This can involve improvements such as employing car-sharing systems, establishing improved public transport infrastructure, and boosting the use of low or zero-emission transport modes. Unfortunately, the transportation sector is responsible for a significant portion of global greenhouse gas emissions, contributing to environmental degradation and climate change. In the United States alone, the transportation sector accounts for approximately 35% of total CO2 emissions, making it a major contributor to the greenhouse effect. To combat this pressing issue, electric vehicles, EVs, have emerged as pioneers of sustainability, offering a cleaner and more environmentally friendly alternative to traditional internal combustion engine vehicles. Electric vehicles offer many advantages, and one standout benefit is their remarkable capacity to mitigate greenhouse gas emissions substantially. By relying on electricity as their primary power source, EVs exhibit a remarkable trait of emitting no tailpipe emissions, effectively eradicating detrimental pollutants like carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxides, and particulate matter. Compared to traditional vehicles, the potential of electric vehicles to curtail CO2 emissions and enhance air quality emerges as a significant stride forward. The future of mobility. Automakers are dedicated to the EV transition, changing investment allocations from gas-powered to electric vehicles. Yet, despite their spending priorities, only 44% of automotive executives questioned expect to fulfill the industry's ambitious 2030 sales goals. How come? The move to electric vehicles will have huge repercussions for automobile manufacturers, necessitating the development of wholly new designs, components, skills, partnerships, and processes, as well as a recommitment to the things that are most essential to their customers. Herein is the difficulty of the situation. Several speed bumps that need to be smoothed out to maintain the momentum of the industry's electric vehicle transformation were brought to light by our survey. When it comes to determining how to price and sell electric vehicles, there is a gap between CEO perceptions and consumer expectations. To support the charging infrastructure and battery lifecycle that is necessary for predicted driving ranges, there is a need for deeper ecosystem engagement. Continual examination of which new operational competencies businesses ought to strengthen and preserve in-house, as opposed to those that they ought to outsource or create in conjunction with third parties from the outside. If you want to understand more about these present difficulties and how automakers may leverage sophisticated technology to speed up the transition to more sustainable mobility, you should read the complete report. So this is the end of our today's video. Do you like it? Kindly give your valuable response in our comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting and informative videos.